Today I'm gonna show you the interface that has been tricking your ears for so long time in my videos. So the Line 6 UX1 is actually a pretty old interface by now, although they have made a couple of few upgrades. It came out in 2005, so that's already more than 10 years ago. So, I mean, you cannot expect it to be the Helix of today, obviously. To my point of view, it actually competes with the Scarlett, the PreSonus small interface, and GarageBand, IK multimedia software, or how it's pronounced. I'm sorry, I'm not English. Basically what it does, it's an audio interface where you can connect your instruments or your microphone and to the computer, where you can actually use software to record and software to tweak your sound, obviously. For a guitarist or a bassist, it will be something like a pedal board on your computer. Let's leave something clear, this thing does not compete with the Helix, does not compete with the Kemper, does not compete with Headrush, and a lot of modern and very sophisticated and very close to the reality pedal boards and softwares. Yeah, be warned. Let's start by the not so great things of this thing, which is the distortion, the amplifier emulation, and the compressors. I find it not really close to the reality, neither how they work. Basically, they lack dynamics, they lack the range of sound that you will get from a real thing, and it's probably also because you use speakers, so yeah, like the cabinet or the amplifier, it's not as big, so the sound resonance is different, and obviously the cone is also different, so you get a different sound out of it. I personally don't use it with amp, also because I don't have my amp here. I have a Hawatt, which you're looking right now in the picture, and it's in my beloved country, Argentina. So the big downsides of the distortions is that it requires a lot of tweaking before getting to the distortion that I'm really searching, and basically takes me some time to like not think like the real pedals and the real amplifiers, but get into the mindset of the pod farm, basically like adapt myself to it. And that's actually one of the things that a lot of people say, that the pod farm should be like the same thing as in the real, but to my common sense, it makes sense that as software, it's not the same as the hardware. The compressor, it works fabulously, but the only big downside is when you're picking, it makes like a spark sound, and all of the 2 or 3 variations of compressor that comes with the Podfarm 2.5, they have that, and that really spoils my entire recording because it sounds awful, and every time you pick, basically it goes like nah. Although, if we get to the part of delays and modulation, delays, wow, I am really blown away. Actually, that was the first effect I ever tried, and especially the analog delay, that was amazing. That thing is amazing, and honestly, if I wouldn't have a delay, or I would need a delay type or a delay sound that I don't have, or I want to stack more delays on my pedal board, I will definitely use the Line 6 UX1 for that, because it has very good emulation, and you can actually tweak it as much as you want, even more than real pedals in some cases. It works really well and it sounds really good. And same thing for chorus, flanger, and yeah, tremolo, and a lot of other effects like that. So the software itself, it's very, very easy to use. It's very intuitive, and honestly, nobody can get lost with it. There is not some weird fancy option that you don't know or something like that. I mean, you can just learn it along. In very few minutes, you're done with it. You already kind of know how it works, basically, without the need of tutorials and stuff like that, which I find really useful. I mean, I remember still when I had my first pedal board and I didn't understand anything of it, and yeah, I think actually that I sold it because I couldn't understand how it worked, honestly. So yeah, good job there. And I'm running the 2.5 version, so I don't know if in future there will be a different update, but so you to know that if it looks different, you know why. And it has very nice features because you can change, for example, the order of the pedals. You can put the same pedals again, so you can have like double pedals, and you can also put your set up mono or stereo, so that means that you can have two different lines with different pedals or mirrored pedals and amplifiers, effects, etc. You can also change the microphone emulation, and you can change the cabinets, and I mean there is quite some freedom to the software itself. You can pretty much like experiment with it and I mean just launch up an idea that you might have or something. It works pretty good. So it's a very good product for what you get and what you pay. This thing is normally around 100 euros, dated 2017. So for what you get, I mean, it's amazing, because if you will have to buy, for example, the Scarlett, then you will also have to buy, for example, an extended version of GarageBand and stuff like that. In that case, you will even have to have an iPad, if I'm not mistaken, depending like what software, what combination you want to go. Then basically I opted for the Line 6 because it was easier, and I also have had other friends that had it, and honestly I have heard how it sounded before, so that convinced me like right away, you know, I'm just gonna stick for that for a practice amp, practice setup to not bother anybody here. It also comes in 3 different variants. You have the UX1, the UX2 and the GX, which the GX is like the smallest of all of them, and I think it only includes like 1 input, so basically for 1 instrument. I'm not sure about that, so you can check it out in the link below of Line 6. Also for the specification of each one of them. I don't want to go into numbers and stuff like that, because I know how it goes. You don't remember anything and you find it boring, and why would you do that? You can just go to the Line 6 website and you can just read out everything and compare it however you want to. There is no need. In terms of connectivity, it just works like in an amp. Even for the headphones you have to have a converter, and you can plug it to your amplifier, you can plug it in the line, and you can plug it also to your speakers, basically monitor speakers. I find it very portable in that way, because I could just carry around the interface, the guitar with the cable, and I just right away connected and right away done with it. So the UX1 has connectivity for 1 bass or 1 guitar, which is passive, so no active pickups. If you want to be able to connect your active guitar or bass, then you have to go with the UX2, if I'm not mistaken. In my opinion, it's a great solution if you want something small, be able to take it everywhere you want to, and don't bother any neighbors with it, and be able to record at the same time. For me, it's actually a very big advantage, and I also appreciate the advantage of being able to stack multiple delays and multiple effects like that. For example, if I want to play U2 stuff or something like that, then I can still do it. I personally wouldn't use this to gig, absolutely not, because you don't have a pedal board. For example, wah and volume pedals, you can literally not use them if you don't have a pedal. And if you have real pedals, then why will you use the ones of the Line 6? At that point, then just use your amp and use your pedals. Maybe you want an extra effect there and there, but honestly, I will just stick to basically the real gear, as in gig concern. Depending on what sound I'm looking for and what effects I'm looking for, then I think I will just like combine or just use one or the other, just like I said before. But let me know in the comments below, what do you prefer?